government. So she would have to concede that there are some women that also agree to these laws. And on top of that, what I will end by saying is there are plenty of stories. And even these things have been criminalized and punished in the criminal justice system of women also selling their daughters to grown men, giving them away for intercourse and other type of acts so that they can make money, get drug, all kind of stuff. There are plenty of documented instances of this, and these women never address it. I yield. Have a good night.
Thanks for coming up, Guru. Go ahead, storyteller. Storyteller. Gillette, the Lima pull up. Keep it cool. Go ahead.
So I wanted to reference one of the things. I'm gonna go back to a few things people said. So one of the things Stacey said when he was up here was that so women are uncomfortable with men having a voice, right? And he said prior to, like 2020 or 2016, Kevin Samuels, it was just women who had this voice. And he mentioned Oprah, he mentioned Ricky Lake, right? I want to remind everybody, prior to Oprah, the show started in 86, and Ricky Lake, men had advertisements. So all of the advertisements in magazines was about how women should behave. It told women what to do. Radio shows, men talked about the way women should behave and raise kids. So if you look up Cosmopolitan, if you look up Reebok, Sears, Jet Magazine, everything was telling women how to behave, what to do, how to have your house clean when your husband comes home. So that's a lot of propaganda that women were fed, right? By way of ads. We didn't have Oprah on television then. We didn't have Ricky Lake on television then. So it was a lot of propaganda telling women the way we should behave and carry ourselves, right? So I just wanted to make that connection. Boom. When y'all say that it's the minority of men who do perverted things, the minority always become the majority if this world is as sick as y'all say it is. Because I'm going to give y'all an example. Y'all said back in the day, gangster rap was the minority, right? Dolores Tucker said, no, it's going to be the majority soon. It's going to be the majority. Men kept saying it's going to be the minority. This is not going to be our culture. And now look at us. We are having a conversation about how hip hop took over all of our brains. Right? How women are out here twerking in all the videos, all over YouTube, all over Facebook, all over Instagram. So just remember that when you say the minority, just remember one day it will become the majority. If it doesn't receive pushback or resistance, if more people don't press back against it, that's how wildfires catch on. I just want y'all to be aware of that, right? Guru mentioned, it was Owen Guru, post-relationships. I just want to say, I've been on this app for like 3 years. Post-relationships, everybody changed. Cause Guru, he changed when he met the little fine fingers. You understand what I'm saying? So what's up?
I'm not familiar with everything because I haven't been on TikTok that long, but I'm with you. Go ahead. I just can't verify.
Everybody do this. He just said post-relationship, she changed. Well, post-relationship, he changed. And that's one of the things I see on this app with these content creators. As soon as something happens majorly with a girl or a boy, their whole message change. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, right? The last thing I'm going to say is to Guru. He mentioned forcibly the women. He said that it's a lot of women that are on the council and they have to agree to these laws. I'll be willing to bet a lot of women are being forced to agree to the laws. Period. Y'all can't tell me, I know y'all don't even feel right saying it. Y'all can't think a lot of mothers are going to sign up for this shit. Not even in y'all bones do y'all agree. It is something that a man will do because most men don't emotionally attach to their children. But it's a hard sell to tell me that a woman will will be okay with selling a little girl to a grown man. Convince me of this. We are the same people that we say if a child is lost, just scream mom. And every woman in proximity within a distance will respond to that child. We are not the same, guys. We are not the same. And I ended there.
Okay. Well, we're keeping no personal attacks and whatnot. Let's keep the order going. Let's go.
You can't tell me that women don't sell their children. Well, December 17th of 2024, a 32-year-old woman from Dadar has been arrested for allegedly selling her 45-day-old little girl to raise money. In Mumbai, another mother sells her baby. Karnataka, mother sells newborn. So this is not something that is new. This is not something that does not exist. I find a lot of these conversations to be a little disingenuous because we as a society, we all know that men do horrible, disgusting, egregious things accordingly. However, it becomes disingenuous when we put so much focus on that to the point where we completely ignore the women's wrongdoings in society, and which is why I think a lot of women talk like this to cover up what they do on the low. It was ironic that Princella was coming up here talking about abuse and things of that nature and the DV rates. I don't want to put too many people's business out there, but apparently, allegedly, based on her ex-girlfriend, she actually has a history of abuse herself. So I think that's interesting that we always talk about when men abuse, but we don't talk about when women abuse. And if you guys go do some research on your own and look at the numbers, you'll actually notice that women perpetrate a majority of non-reciprocal domestic DV, okay? And when it's not reciprocated, when it's mutual, women actually initiate 70% of it, which means they hit their partner first. When we look at the abuse rates, women perpetrate the most abuse against children, and they are also the most likely to abuse the elderly. So again, we do understand that men are a part of this problem, but we cannot continue to hyper focus on them and act like women do no wrong either. This
I'm sorry.
This goes under the radar, and it's very, very toxic because we need to be attacking them both at the same time, with the same type of energy. There's a reason why people will hop down a man's throat for dating a freshly 18-year-old, but when women like Brittany Renner get with men off of college campuses, it's praise, it's funny, it's cute. Stella got her groove back. Everybody makes a movie about this type of stuff and jokes about it. So I just wanted to say that, yes, again, we understand that men are part of problems in society, but ladies, do not use that as an excuse to justify what you do wrong.
Go ahead, Lynn. You're good.
Yeah, I'm here. I was waiting till she finished. So I think it's very dangerous to say, to focus on great and saying that the majority of men have this attitude. I don't know any men that have this attitude, that have this.
Especially towards your daughters. But I'm sorry, but it's.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing to me. Because I can ask you, do you feel that way about your kids? I can ask Mr. O, I can ask Lower, I can actually ask the guy next to me, public defender, does he feel that way about his children, whether male or female? So I think to push a narrative say that what the minority became the majority, that the majority of men are going to eventually transform their brains in order to want little girls. That is a very dangerous statement to make. And I think it's to be said, and I think a lot of people, they speak off of trauma. That's what I was hearing. It's a lot of trauma responses. All Black men are this. Most of Black men are this. And it's never anything positive. It's always something negative. You never hear lines or anything praising or anything positive about Black. It's always they're doing something that's deviant. And then speak, like you said, at the side of the line, and they have absolutely zero facts, zero statistics. It's all based off of feeling. When we come up here and speak, especially women, we speak off of feelings, how we feel about it. Not what the facts are, not what the stats are. It's how we feel. I don't like what you said, so I'm going to respond to this. I really don't like the rhetoric, and you can just tell just by the tone of voice of when people speak. You have to look at where the message and look at who is coming from. You listen to the tone of voice; it was anger, nothing but anger. And speaking from trauma and personal experience. Your personal experience doesn't justify or speak to everybody else's experience. I don't have experiences like that. I don't know people who have experiences like that. So as far as accountability is concerned, I always hear it on one side and I don't hear it on the other side. It's always men. Yeah, and in the comments, yeah, girl. She's all this talking about nothing. The most extreme, deplorable behavior. That's what everybody's in the comments talking about and woo-hooing and giving coins for. If we don't reality, relationships and men from your trauma, we're going to have bigger problems. We are never going to be able to communicate and see anything from the other side because we're so focused on what was done.
Go ahead, Paul.
All right, what up?
What's happening?
Not much, man. So I was just gonna address the topic, if that's okay. I didn't really feel like I don't really feel like responding to nobody directly. I don't have no shade or shots to throw at anybody specifically. But it's all
nobody else I would rather hear from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You convince you.
We got it.
You can do it. Go ahead.
We got it. So the patriarchy is not real. Okay. The first thing that I find odd about this statement is if the patriarchy isn't real, then explain the plight of black men in this country as a black man, right? Because I know one thing black men gonna do is find a way to see racism, right? We see racism very well. But and if we see racism and black men are, I mean, you would have to explain our position in the world and in this country. You could say in the world, it wouldn't even have to be in this country specifically, but you would have to explain the position of black men all around the world, in every country, even in African countries, in America. You would have to explain that. If it's not the paper, explain what it is. Because it ain't just racism. Why are black? You can't just say white supremacy, because why are black men specifically at the bottom of it, right? Why aren't Asian men at the bottom? Why? Yeah. So the patriarchy is a hierarchy, right? That is literally a part. That is what the patriarchy is. It is a hierarchy, and in this country, the patriarchy isn't. It white male centered. That's what it is. It is white male centered. It doesn't mean that only men benefit from it, though. And I think that is a lot of the confusion comes in, because if you have proximity to white men, like white women do, right, they will also have some benefits from the patriarchy, by proxy, because they're close to it, right? But really, it's an intersectional thing where it's racism, capitalism, and misogyny all mixed together into one. The patriarchy is very much real. We see it every day play out as it pertains to black men specifically and black people in general. Then in our own neighborhood, you would have to explain who I was hearing a lot of stats being thrown around, right? So since everybody got their computers open, let's ask this question to anybody. You don't have to answer this, whatever. Who is responsible for the vast majority of violence within the black community? Who do you think it is, Michael?
Is it multiple choice?
No, who do you think the vast majority of violence is perpetuated by in the black community? Like, not even close, right? Not even okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he answered the question.
Not just black men raised without fathers
Yeah. We can talk about that too. We can talk about how black fathers abandon their children and all that stuff too, if you want to. I'm with that too. And that's not, once again, no, you don't. All you have to do is have a all you have to do is have a child to abandon a child. You don't need to be in a relationship with the mother. If you have I don't care if it was a sneaky link. I don't care if it was a prostitute. I don't care. If the child is there, that is your child. That is your connection. So if you don't show up for that child, you abandon that child. There's no way around it. You don't get to blame it on the baby mama. You don't get to blame it on the court. You don't get to blame it on Section 8. You don't get to blame it on any of that. You get to blame it on yourself only. And I'll do this for black men. I'll give us an out because white men about 25% of the time after marriage. It's not as a black. No, I'm saying, well, no. I do this because, like I said, black men love to hear that we're not the only ones that's dirty, right? We know we fucked up. We like to bring everybody else and like, oh well, the white man and the white and the Latino, like, cool. So I'm gonna give you all the outs, right? Men abandon children, which goes to my original point that the patriarchy is real. Men abandon their children. Men don't see their children as human beings. Men don't see the women as human beings. If you don't see the women as human beings, then you won't see the children as human beings. Men abandon children. Men neglect children. Men, you want to talk about abuse? Men abandon kids at a higher. Men abuse children at a higher rate than women do. Not per capita. Men abuse children more than women do. First and foremost, their own children per capita, right? Then when you talk unilaterally, when you talk outside of their own children, like the next door neighbor, or when they're in charge of the platoon or the whatever, the fucking Boy Scouts of America stuff, they abuse those kids way more than women. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. So I don't be understanding why we just can't accept that as men, right? Why we can't understand that if in one breath, every man up here would say that men around, and when people with sense go, okay, well then we gotta fix it. They go, nah, it's these single baby mothers. Like, what? When did all these single baby mothers get the power? Is that what y'all telling me, that the single baby mothers are the reason why the black man abandoned their babies and why the white man abandoning their babies and why the kids growing up without fathers? And even when the fathers are in the home, the fathers are neglectful. Even when the fathers are there, it ain't like they show up as much as the mothers do. Let's be real. Everybody in this motherfucker was raised by their mama. Even if your daddy was there, you were still raised by your mama. Your mama was your first teacher. Your mama spent the most time with you. Your mama cooked you the most meals. Your mama took you to the most sporting. Like, your mama did that shit. Even when even if your daddy worked the same amount of hours, even if your daddy didn't, it don't matter. Your mother did the majority of the child rearing. You know it. Fuck is that? You and I know it personally. So why do y'all get up here and start lying about it? That be the thing I always wonder. Like, what do you get out of telling these lies? Does it make you feel better? Like, what do you like? If you really care? I care about the black community. I care about okay, cool. Then why would you lie about it then? I yield. I'm very curious.
Okay, cool. You went to the first one. I didn't follow to let you answer it. I want to read the definition of patriarchy. I'll read both definitions. I'm not going to read the feminism definition, but I will say a system of society or government in which the father or eldest male is head of the family and descent is traced through the male line. A system of society or government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it. Now, in your speech, you mentioned like black men, but you put us below black men. So,
no, I was saying, that's what I'm saying. Intersectionality doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like black men are under white women. In some instances, we are. In some instances, we're not. We got the right to vote before white women got the right to vote, right? Because of the patriarchy. That's how strong the patriarchy is. The patriarchy is so strong that black men got the right to vote before white women did. I'm not wrong about that. You go look it up. Because I know that. Say what? What? What?
Literacy tested property deeds were instilled even after they made things in the law. They literally beat other things into law to stop whatever law that was. That's why Black men were also granted the right to these things in 1960s.
No, Black men did not get the right to vote in 1964. Sorry, I don't know what weird shit y'all talking about, but black men didn't get. I know. I don't know what y'all talking about. Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
For me? Omega. Okay. So this argument about Black men getting the rights before white women, on paper, they instilled literacy tests, prior property owned deeds, all types of different rules to stop Black men from voting. There's something being done on paper and something actualizing itself into being useful for real. Okay? So there's rhetoric and actuality.
What are we saying? I'm not understanding the point of this. I'm sorry. What's the point of this? What are you saying?
Okay. The point was to false premise. Okay. In reality, I wanted to get back to the patriarchy example. I was listening to you. You asked several questions, so I wanted to answer them. You asked a question about if it wasn't for the patriarchy, what was the reason for Black men's position throughout it was industrial infrastructure. Industrial infrastructure has always been the root of building.
I never asked that. I don't even know what that question is. I didn't ask the question. No, Omega, I'm just saying you're not answering the question. No, Omega, you didn't. No, Michael. Hold on, Michael. No.
This question because you know what I'm saying, I've been having this conversation with people to say I'm going to take patriarchy myself, and then you know what I'm saying, I'm going to be convinced because to me, you know what I mean. To me, you know, the patriarchy seems like a ploy from white supremacy to take our mind, like from a lot of different things, because a lot of I just don't feel like I hold that power. You know,
you don't hold the power to be Michael. But here's the thing about here's the thing that I don't understand. So if Black men don't, when you say that power, what power are you talking about? No, I know the definition. I know the definition by heart. So I understand it. You know, I talk about it like daily. But I'm saying that definitions are not prescriptive, they're descriptive. Right? Not about it being like a literal thing. So you have to be able to have abstract thought when you have this conversation as well, right? It's not, it doesn't. Yeah, no. I'm not. I'm saying though, in this system, right? It could be. I don't know what it could be. I don't know what else it could be, but I'll explain to you the power. I know several forms of power that Black men have within the Black community. First of all, yeah. I don't know about most of us. I mean, I don't know about all Black people or what the percentage is, right? No, I'm saying I don't know. I haven't looked this up. This is not something I ever cared to look. I'm pretty sure that most Black people have their father's last names, right? Regardless of if, I would think. I don't know. I'm sure it's a higher demographic of Black people who don't have their father's last names than other people, but I'm pretty sure we do. That would take care of the first part, right? Because you read it, right? And then if you talk about the actual power within the community, I mentioned a very powerful thing, which was violence. Is violence not power? The ability to commit copious amounts of copious acts of violence against a group of people as a way to control them. You don't think that that is oppressive? Sustained acts of violence over decades, like decade after decade of violence against its own community, against our own community. You don't think that that is, you don't think that that is power?
Yeah, you know, it's a system of society or government in which men hold the power. So if you're not talking, if there's a system, I guess from the definition, there is a system of black men that are doing this, and yeah, you're exactly right. You know, as far as you know, you have to make that correlate to
to the system.
Yes, men are violent. Black men, there's some black men are violent.
Mhm.
Black men are violent to men.
Children.
Children.
Yep.
Animals,
Yep.
Whatever it is that you want to
Yep.
put that out there. We're talking about the patriarchy here.
But that is a part of the patriarchy is violence. That like that's a tool.
That didn't come into definition.
I know.
So you tell me where into three things. I know you know what it means. Tell me how violence applies to the patriarchy.
How do you get a system of oppression? How do you make it come into fruition? How do you make it, function? How do you make most people accept it, if not through violence? Right?
I will you have a violent system of oppression against their women.
You said, how do we?
Explain that system of oppression through violence that black men have through their women.
Like raping?
Yes, but we don't have to say the majority, but
It doesn't have to be every black man is violent against them. No.
A system to me is a well oiled, you know what I mean? Like it's more than what I'm saying. I'm not saying person, I'm being honest with you.
It's not about what percent of black men are violent. It's about what amount of violence is committed by black men within the community. It's like, you know what I mean? Like there's because all right, what'd you say, lower?
The percentage of men that do it than the level of violence.
No, it would be how many people are affected by the violence, not the percentage of men that do it or people who do it. It would be the most important thing would be the victims. No, it doesn't matter what percentage of black men. It would just be that black men were the largest perpetrators of the violence, and then it would be who is affected most by said. I mean, what percentage of people are affected most by said violence, right? So it could be 5% of black men, committing all the violence or whatever, which I know isn't true. But let's say that that's the number, right? 5% of them, but it doesn't matter. It would matter what percentage of people are affected by the violence, and how does that violence control and shape our community? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that if you make the statement like men, makes it.
No, it doesn't. Because I'm not saying I'm 26.6%. What'd you say, Alima?
It's 26.6%.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, wait, I'm sorry, 26.6% of black men. What are they saying?
Violent crimes. 26.
No, just in general. But yeah, and that's 1 out of 4, and that's the ones that are documented. That's not because most crime isn't even reported. Most violence isn't reported. So that's documented. 1 out of 4 black men are commit acts of violence. Right? You see what I'm saying? So let's just be safe, since we know the majority of violence isn't even reported. Let's just be safe. Let's give it another. Is it fair? You don't think half of black men commit acts of violence? if the vast majority of violence isn't reported, right? Because the number that she's giving is only based on the amount of violence that's reported. It's the only way they can track that. They don't know how much violence is actually reported. How doesn't it work like that? Ask her what it says right now.
No, I'm saying you can't hypothesize.
Ask her what it says. Oh, maybe ask her. Malima, what is that number? Where's that number from? No. I just want to get. Omega, I'm not beefing with. I'm not beefing with this man.
You know what I'm saying? This is not the first time here, and we've had conversations, and he's actually taught me a lot. But you know, that's the type of person I am. He can lead and spit up bombs. You know what I mean? I can take it. You know what I mean? What? You know what I'm saying? Some good stuff that people will, you know what I'm saying, tell me. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that I don't agree with, I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? To me like that. You know, when it comes down to it, it's all about the conversation, and I think the conversation really does rule the nation. And regardless of how y'all may feel about each other, or maybe you're a very intelligent man, Papa, you're a very intelligent man. And I feel like we can have this conversation for sure. I'm grown. I'm just trying to answer his questions. Like, what if I said?
Can I tell you what you said, Omega? If you really want to know. So I'm just telling you. I was saying, you were saying it doesn't work like that, and I was saying you can ask Alima. We don't need to wonder. You can ask her where she got those numbers first and foremost. And then secondly, earlier you actually didn't answer my question. You made up a question, or you misquoted me on accident because it wasn't what I said. So that's all I was trying to correct you. Huh?
When you asked me the question, I said industrial infrastructure. I said two. Before I could expound on the 2 words, you cut me off.
I know. I was saying, Omega, that wasn't. I never.
I said 2 words and you cut me off. I don't care though. Okay. I just want to respond to what you just said.
Okay. All right, go ahead. You can respond.
We are having a regular conversation. I'm not mad at you. We are.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm not with all that. I'm not with all that right now. What I'm trying to say is that she gave you an actualized number, right? Then you hypothesized the potential number, and you based it off nothing, and said, "I'm going to then say it's 50%." What I said to you is, it doesn't work like that, because it doesn't work like that. That's not how you're going to project numbers like that. That's not how they work. Crimes are committed, but I'm going to guess a number. Crimes are committed. That's not how that works. That's just not how that works.
Okay. So is it fair to say, Omega, that... Sorry, I thought he was finished. My bad.
Question.
What?
And the thing about this, what I think is disingenuous about this information, is people will talk about Black men and leave out us making up most of the freed inmate project, right? They leave out the part that Black men make up the vast majority of people who are freed from wrongful convictions. They leave out the tens of thousands of cases that have to deal with this. The number that you quoted is based on arrest. They're not based on convictions. They're based on arrest. And we can, in one conversation, highlight the racist system that perpetuates these problems against our community and leave it out when you vilify Black men. That's all that is. There is the crime number when it comes to Black men. And all of these problems are usually socioeconomic. When you remove the socioeconomic conditions in the Black community, you virtually do not see these criminal aspects, tendencies, or mindsets in Black men or Black women when you leave and remove them from the conditions of America, right? You can go through history. men, black women have been ruling land, black men since the time. I tried to answer your first question. The answer is industrial infrastructure. The industrial infrastructure is based on many things. Throughout humanity, there's been a change of power between all cultures. At one time, slave trade, okay? The game between Europe and other third world was gunpowder. Even now, to this day and age, when America goes into guerrilla warfare, Vietnam, the Philippines, they do horribly. Iraq, they do horribly. Right? Industrial infrastructure. And industrial infrastructure is not solely based on gender politics.
Yeah, I never said that. But and that's why I was saying I was trying to stop you before because that had I know that had nothing. I didn't ask the question. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't ask a question that would require that answer. I never asked that question. That's what I was trying to. Okay, what was the question that I asked?
Them being overtaken by other cultures, and what I said to you, it is based on industrial infrastructure. Industrial infrastructure is something that has changed the hands of all cultures and communities through humanity. All right. When there was just effective warfare for nation, it worked for the Romans and the Greeks. When the Asians discovered gunpowder, it changed them. That is industrial infrastructure. That is the question.
Yeah, it
is not solely based on patriarchy.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think it is. I know, and I mean, actually, I would go further than that. I know it's not. And I was the first person that I heard up here talking about intersectionality and not just talking about it based in gender. I literally brought up capitalism, gender politics, as well as racism. Right, all connected, interconnected. Right. But yeah, I don't care. That's fine. That's an answer to whatever point you wanted to make. That's fine. But I don't, me personally though, let's get back on topic. To answer the second part of the prop too real quick, what's worse, misogyny or misandry? Misandry is a response to misogyny. It is reverse racism. Misandry is reverse racism, right? So misandry wouldn't exist without misogyny. You know what I'm saying? Like it just wouldn't exist without misogyny. So asking which one is worse is literally like, so ask once again, as a black man, what's worse, reverse racism or racism?
So your answer to the question is misogyny.
Oh yeah. Misogyny is the only misandry isn't a problem. Misandry doesn't lead to the oppression of a group of people at all. Misandry is a response. It is a safety mechanism that is deployed by women to protect them from the patriarchy, right? The same way that quote unquote reverse racism protects us from racism, right? If black people come out, if all black people tomorrow were to say, I hate white people, how would that affect white people? If all black people tomorrow said, I'm not dealing with no more white people, I'm not going to, how does that negatively impact white people? Well, I don't really mean. I mean on an interpersonal level, as far as it being oppressive, because we don't owe them. Because Michael, yeah. We don't owe them, but we don't owe them our money, so it wouldn't even work that way. Yeah. No, I know, but it wouldn't be oppressive if we stop spending our money with their businesses. That's our no. Not. What do you mean we're the biggest? What do you mean we're the biggest finish with that?
Statistics and whatnot, but I think black knowledge doesn't circulate in our community as much as it circulates in other community. So, you
There's-
know what I'm saying? If we not spending it with the white people, and we, you know what I'm saying, only circulated it in our own community and the power that we have, even over like entertainment. And you know what I'm saying, maybe we not even signing with nobody who is, you know what I mean? If we like, you know, man, if we even just went to Africa, we just got, hey, you know what I'm saying, y'all got all these resources, and you know what I'm saying, we're not going to even really deal with anybody else. Let's make this connection, and you really, because we're the only people that don't have a direct connection to anybody who's gonna, you know, even defend us at all. You know what I'm saying? Like Jewish people, Asian, you know what I'm saying? It's a reason why they don't get messed with.
Yeah, but Michael, what I'm saying is simply, black people don't owe white people our dollar, right? And there's no such thing as a black dollar. Every dollar got Andrew. No, it's not. There's no such. All those dollars are. Sorry, there's no such thing as a black dollar. Just like there's no such thing as black capitalism. It's just capitalism, right? So, black people, if we don't owe them our dollars, if we stop spending our money with them, we are not oppressing them. We're not oppressing them. That is not an oppressive act. We don't owe them our money. Therefore, you know what I'm saying? We don't owe them our bodies. If we say we're not going to work anymore and we say we're not going to give you any more of our money, that's not oppressive. For them, we're not oppressive, right? So the point about misogyny and misandry is, if a woman or a group of women say 4B, 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 how is that oppressing men?
That's not misandry.
No, that is. Yes, that's what men think. That's what men think misandry is. What? Feminism is not. No, feminism is about the equity and equality between the genders and between men, basically between men, women, and children. That has nothing to do with misandry. Has zero to do with misandry. You can't hate men. Yeah. It don't matter what the wave is. It doesn't matter what the wave is. The definition hasn't changed. And yeah, so you could be a woman. I mean, you could be a woman. If you are a person and if you're a woman and you hate men, you're not a feminist. You can't hate men and be a feminist. That doesn't make sense. Well, I take that back. I guess technically hate men. That doesn't matter, to be honest with you. It's more about your politics. If you I'll tell you what I'm saying right now, Megan. Yeah. Let me clear.
People even in the 4B movement, the why is not.
Yeah, I'm saying that the 4B movement.
Yeah.
I think the 4B movement is fine. The why about it is fine. Yeah, the why is fine. Yeah. The why is fine. The movement is fine. I don't care. But I just want to say this real quick before. No, I'm saying I agree with it. I'm with it. I don't have a problem with 4B. What I'm saying, but my point was when I was saying you can hate men and it not actually affect your politics. In theory, you can hate men and then not like want to see less. You could just be like, I ain't fucking with you. Know what I'm saying? Like, you can feel however you feel about him, but then do something technically, right? You could do something different politically. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You can have whatever feelings you want to have about men personally, but then how that plays out politically could be something completely different. You know what I mean? Like, you could dislike white people, but not want to see less for them. You could just be like, I ain't fucking with them. They've caused me so much harm, but I don't want to see, I just want equality, right? Like, I don't want them to be like, I'm tired of us being below and them being on top, or whatever the case may be. See what I'm saying? Like, so women can feel however they want to feel about men. That shit don't it means nothing. What do you mean they can go extreme? In what way?
Well, you saying just one, they can just say, I just like men, you know what I'm saying, but it's all cool. I'm just gonna kind of do my thing. They say I hate men, and you know what I'm saying, do something extreme. The same thing with men, because a man can say, I don't like women, and you know what I'm saying, just be cool. I'm gonna stay away from them. You know what I mean?
When women say they hate men, they typically avoid men. When men say they hate women, they seek women out and harm them. You see what I'm saying? And men have it. I'm saying, generally speaking, when you hear men who hate women, right? The men that are like, I hate, whatever, they were to actually openly admit it, which most of them won't openly admit it. Let's say when they do, they seek women out. They don't like those women alone. They go find those women. Yeah. How do you want me to? No. I answer the question. Nice. How would you like a person to substantiate that
Any proof that
you're talking about, like all the men who unalive women? I could tell you this right now. Any off the rip.
Wait. Give me anywhere I can go look at men that hate women go seek out women.
Yeah, it was a man that literally got on a train, wrote a manifesto, and started unaliving people.
I can get one-on-one.
Hold on, Knight.
I'm not really answering questions about this. Even something that he can answer tangibly, and then please,
all right.
Let me say this. I'll let you do it, but please let the person answer before you even say anything. If you hear 3 words that somebody said, you respond. That means you're really not even listening to. And what we're gonna do is, like teachers tell my children, we're gonna put on our listening ears, and this is gonna be on both sides. So you have to put on your listening ears also. You know what I mean? Don't people, say what they want to say. I'm gonna whatever next and then go ahead. You can answer your question, but just please let them answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the question, but I need, and this is just, I need you to back it up where I can go look it up. Not just about the one time at band camp.
Yeah. So if you want to,
individual anecdotal things for anything we ever want to look up. I'm talking about where I can look up the numbers that men and women go and seek out women to own.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
So if you look up, if you can, I don't know if you know this. So there's done on like gender-based violence, rooted talking about online rhetoric, and then they connect it to real world violence, right? Like there's a study done on that, and I will give you the name of the study if you give me a minute. Like you guys can keep talking, and I'll give you the actual name of the study if you want to go read it. But here's what I want you to. Yeah. So after you read it, lower, hopefully you read it if you want the study. After I give you the study and you read it, I want you to come on and talk about it with me and tell me what you learned from that. Right? That's all I want. If I do the labor to give you the study, I would want you to come and tell me, hey, I read it and this is what I learned. I digested it and this is what I learned.
Hold on, before you do the work, I don't want you to do the work. So you're saying that you're going to study people that go online and say things that typically when they go online and they say things that they actually do something. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, people will talk about they'll talk about things online, right? And then you actually see it play out in the real world. Yeah. I don't know what, like, did you guys not understand that like people get radicalized online and then they go out in the real world and commit violence? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It matters to me and my community.
Hold on. You up there, your thing says the patriarchy isn't real. It doesn't say the black patriarchy. It says the patriarchy isn't real. Now you want it to be not a black thing, got to be a you got to be it's the patriarchy.
This isn't a trick question. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not me trying to tell you that patriarchy is not real because I read you the whole definition of it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it is real. It is tangible. But you know, if you did do a lot of speaking about black men, I'm not gonna lie. You know,
I did that intentionally. I did that because black men can see racism really well, but we struggle with seeing misogyny. And racism and misogyny function very similarly, considering the fact that racism, the system of race, was built on the system of gender. It was built on the same oppressive system that is the patriarchy. Racism was built. It literally mimics the patriarchy. They just said, all right, well, instead of it being you are feminine presenting, you have a phenotype of a black person or an Asian person or whatever, and then they put you in a caste system where you are either higher or lower based on your proximity to whiteness. The same way they put you in a caste system, whether higher or lower, on your proximity to maleness. This is very similar. I'm done.
I've been trying. I was trying to say it before everybody that was here left. Yeah, I know.
Technology facilitated violence.
And I'm gonna say these things I made notes for from the conversation before we got to the patriarchy. I wasn't really here for that. I was trying to address the other thing. I did misquote a year. So white women got the right to vote in 1920. Blacks as a community didn't get the right to vote till 1965. It wasn't black men. It wasn't just black women. It was us together. In 1965, got the right to vote. Earlier, Prince Ellis said something about the 70,000 men. It was conveniently left out that it was white men that were plotting on homing women in their lives. Those were a group of white men. That 70,000 that you mentioned. She didn't say men. She didn't say which men. The same white men that have raped the entire planet. Right? He also gave the numbers about relationships and had a concept. The more women are in relationships, the more violent relationships. So again, men with men, they have the least violent relationships. Men with women have a higher rate of violence. Women with women have the highest relationships in the United States. When it comes to grape, look up the numbers. It says 1 in 4 women be essayed over a lifetime. 1 in 6 men will be. And it's actually probably closer because for some reason, young men, when they essayed by older women, some of them feel it's a rite of passage. So I think that I'm 1 in 6 because some of those victims don't see it as what's her name? Storyteller was saying that it was said that you find a black woman or you just yell out mom. The one saying that's been for the last 40 years in the community was if a child is lost, walk into a black man and he'll help you find the safe place. That's what it actually says. It doesn't say yell mama. It says go up to a black man and he'll help you make sure you get home. She brought up the fact about hip hop, particularly. It was the minority, now it was the majority. Along with the majority, whole hop is more of the majority now. And it went from minority to not majority, and we see that what is leading our daughters. We see it. It brought up that men abandon families. Women families more than men, except they take the children with them. If you ever get a group of men together and a group between the two, every time they in relationships more than men. Not because men are more capable and used to having a family. Women leave families more than men.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
For black families not to be built, you're just as racist as white supremacists. And you are white supremacists. You support anything that's not building and moving our community and families forward into the future. At the end of the day, the movement is used as a lesbian recruitment. That's what it is. We're dancing around the same. That's is white supremacy, and the phobia movement is that.
Oh my God, man.
And then just
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into the patriarchy conversation. I just want I didn't come for
Oh.
anybody want to respond.
Go ahead, BBG. Please go ahead. By all means.
There was something that there was a question that you raised earlier, and you talked about how, example of men who would have had misogynistic ideas and they intentionally caused harm to women that they did not know. I don't want to misinterpret the question.
No, he said that men that hate women seek out women that hurt.
Yes.
And I was asking, where did he get that men that hate women seek out women to hurt?
There was a case of a guy, who intentionally harmed a group of women. You probably would just because this was a white teen man.
I'm going to cut this one person, but you good.
Yeah.
Well, he said, and when he
No. I said I wasn't looking for one. I was looking for where we can go and look at that the majority of men that do that are those men. We can get one off all day long.
okay. So Elliot Rogers was, but in chapter Threatening Women in the book Down Girl, The Logic of Misogyny by Kate Mann, he talks about a lot of these instances because of men's misogyny is more idealistic than anything else. There are men who do seek to harm women based on the fact that they just don't like the idea. The entire chat, talks about that. And if you have like Kindle or Amazon, whatever, you can look up specifically that chapter. That's all it talks about.
Was it still black men or white men?
Oh my God.
It talks about men.
Oh,
because it's a theoretical argument. It's not something that single out one specific race of men or one specific culture of men. It's meant to draw inferences to, okay, how is this showing up in a social setting, period? Because when we talk about, if you're in a group of people, a lot of these ideas around gender don't really change a lot when you change culture. So if you're in a group of white men, if you're in a group of black men, if you're in a group of Asian, if you're in a group of Indian men, these ideas tend to be blanketed across the board. Like this is how, and that's how the system of patriarchy has sort of been able to uphold itself, is because of the fact that it is all inclusive. It's able to be sort of segued into whatever community it's in at the time, where the beliefs are that the men should have the power, that the men should have access to the women, that the women should be able to have discipline, should be able to discipline the children, how they should be able to uphold these toxic ideas around masculinity, which is a form of upholding hegemonic masculinity.
Can I ask you a quick question still?
Well, I wasn't done.
Yeah. Please let them in. And then you got it.
And that's a lot of the reason why when we have theoretical arguments, it's better honestly to leave it at theory, because once you start trying to get down to, okay, which race of men did this, those numbers, those little bubbles, they start to overlap each other. That's the honest reality. That's the reason why, even when you talk about when the conversation we had about women earlier, neglecting and or abusing children, nobody asked whether or not that was black women, white women, Asian women, Indian women. Nobody differentiated that part. Like that was a very blanketed statement about whether. I'm sorry about your sentences.
Maybe it was just me.
Yeah. When the argument was presented earlier, there was no differentiating between what type of women were more likely to abuse children. Like that was a very statement.
Well, according to the numbers, it is black women.
It's not.
Black women not the highest on that list?
It's not, no. And I think that people somebody actually said it in the comments that they said that AD was a part of it. And I think that it's laughable at best, but including something that is considered a medical procedure, we do not get into argument about that as a form of violence, knowing that there are women who absolutely do need this procedure in order for them to be able to survive, is an assessment of whether or not these women particularly are committing violence against their children. Because especially with Black women, when we talk about systemic barriers, because the reason we differentiated earlier the right to vote in 1964 or in 1869 was because of the systemic barriers that were in place, or the de facto barriers that were in place, the de facto segregation. The reason why you didn't count the fact that those men were had the ability to vote was because of the fact that they also had to go through literacy tests. They also had to go through, they had to jump through a lot of hoops in order to be able to vote, which I think is valid. I don't think that that's the argument that we have to have either, because that's a fair assessment that, yeah, they were legally the right to vote, but if they weren't actually able to physically vote, then what's the difference? That's not them actually having the right to vote. So I can concede to, okay, when did they actually get the ability to vote? That was 1964. But when we're talking about how women's experience, when we talk about, especially when it comes to medical procedures like AB, when we talk about neglect and violence, Black women are disproportionately having their children taken away from them and being medically surveilled, because Black women, the conversations that were had about opioids and white women having slugs in their system, because I know we can't say the word, slugs in their system, was vastly different. The response was vastly different than when they were talking about smack babies. Because remember, when they were talking about smack babies, they were talking about how you can't look them in the eye. There was no research to prove that. You can't hold them for too long. There was no research to prove that. So it was a very blanketed idea, and those women were intentionally being targeted based on being Black and being pregnant, as opposed to just being women. So I think that when we talk about how patriarchy as a system that is supported by misogyny, which is the ideas, is whether or not it's real. I think that we have to start to look at, okay, theoretically, how are these things showing? Are there actual barriers in place to hinder women and or Black women specifically from being able to have upward mobility in the world, and what that actually looks like?
Lord, to answer your question, the FBI concludes that there's no data to specifically say that Black men could commit crimes against Black women, and this is from the FBI. They can quantify. So to make that blanket statement, I think is wild. So there's no data to access.
Can I? I'm going to I kind of get it. I just want to ask you a question. We talking about the patriarchy. I really want to that conversation. What I'm more concerned with is our community. When was the last time we can openly say that the men control what's going on in our community? In our community.
Never.
I don't care about the patriarchy out there. I'm not talking about that.
Never.
I'm talking about within our community, within our homes. When was the last time men could actually be considered the leaders of our community? Everybody want to answer that?
The leader?
Never have.
Yeah. I'll say
Thank
you.
Yeah. Thank you. So in our community, I think there's more of a racism thing outside of us. Within our community, women control the culture.
No.
And what moves forward.
No, Lord. Yeah, you. I thought you were saying that white men controlled our community. I would agree. If you're saying that if you're saying the default is Black women control it, that's a blatant 100% lie. 100% lie. If Black women controlled our community, we would not be in shambles. I'm just gonna put it to you plainly. If Black women actually, in Black logic, stats, facts, they're smarter than us, more educated than us. They have more. Like, what do you want me to like? Let's be real. Hold on. Lower. What I don't like, right? What I don't like is when you say stuff that sounds wild and it's not backed up by anything. I don't ask you to substantiate a study for that, because hold on, wait, brother. Hold on, brother. I'm telling you, I'm just saying, all I want, we can have the conversation, because these conversations have to be had rooted in logic. A lot of them do. Not everything is going to be found in a study, my brother. Just to be honest with you. If that's all you're looking for, then you can go have at it, right? My theory is, this is what I honestly believe. The people who ask for the studies the most, that argue against people like BBG and I, are the least educated people in this, right? Because had you actually done the homework, you would not be saying the things you're saying right now. If you everything you're saying, nothing you're saying is based in reality, right? And I'm not. Hold on, wait. I'm sorry, Lower. I'm sorry, Lower. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lower. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lower. I take that back. To you and Omega, the voter thing. I just said black people got the. No, you said it. You said earlier. It's not a disrespect, brother. I'm telling you to your point. I'm agreeing with you. I'm like BBD just said. The context saying that black men got the right to vote in 1869 or whatever they did. They did get the right to vote before black. 65. I'm sorry. Before white women, but in practice, right? Which I love nuance. That's what I'm saying. Let's talk about this like from that aspect. That's all I'm asking you to do as well. There are stats and there's studies and there's history that's going to point to all of this stuff, right? But then there's also like an objective truth. There's also like just us, us observing and putting all of these pieces together. And this is where abstract thought comes into play. You have to be able to think outside of the box. You cannot be linear in your thought process, right? You can't be binary. I'm sorry. You can't be binary in your thought process. It is a theory. All of this is they call it a feminist theory, gender theory, whatever. These are all theories in general, right? But we see how they have real world ramifications. So always asking for a stat or factoid in these discussions, it doesn't do the thing that you want it to do. If you're asking it in earnest, if you're actually asking it to find out, right? Then okay, cool. I hear you, but it doesn't help us right now. That's what I'm saying. But I get the impression that you actually don't care about the study, though. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not making that assumption. I'm just saying that that's what it feels like.
I care about the studies. I don't want to just go by theories or feelings. We admit that the black women have ran our community for the last 40 years.
They did it. They haven't, though.
The children.
They haven't.
Thoughts as well.
Can you explain to me how lower asking for information is qualifying, but telling someone that they should read studies? I feel like the gaslighting is crazy here. Why can only one perpetual side of the argument ask for evidence? That's what I think is weird. Like, I'm not even trying to pick a side. All lower asked you for was evidence. And then your argument after that was, I don't respect people who don't respect people who need evidence.
Not what I said. That's not what I said, Omega. And that be that weird shit I be talking about. Because you guys always take these weird angles to make a point. I don't care. You're not asking a question, bro. That's called projection. The gaslighting that you accuse me of is exactly what you're doing. So my
You do like clarification or stance or something like that. There's nothing wrong with it, right?
I don't. No. What I'm saying is because I do this most people, and this is my experience, and this is what I'm saying. I could be wrong about this. I would say I have yet to see this actually play out another way, right? For the most part. When a person says, let me see the numbers on that, on something like if we say the patriarchy is real and somebody says, you got the stats to back that, it's like, are you serious? Because there are stats that would, kind of point to that, but there is no one study that you're going to be able to point to and be like, the patriarchy is real, right? So you're going to have to be able to have the discussion not in a binary way. You're going to have to be able to pull from.
If we're disqualifying studies, then let's do it all around. That's all I'm saying. If we're going to say, like, BBJ was saying, I'm sorry, so that wasn't intentional.
Right. I'm
having a theoretical conversation, right? Yeah, we're having theoretical conversation, right? Pay respect to that, which is fine for me. None of this is personal, y'all. I'm not even doing that type of energy no more, for real, right? I'm just asking you, public. Lower asked you for evidence of what you were saying. You invalidated the need for evidence. And then you closed your argument with saying, I don't respect people who don't actually show evidence and support that for what they're saying. So that's what I'm saying. You can't do that, though. You can't tell me to accept you showing your work. And then when I show my work, you might not have to count for real.
What I was saying, what I was saying to Lower Omega was Lower made up a bunch of stuff, right? And he made up some conclusions. Specifically, the part when you said that he mentioned something about he basically made a conclusion. I can rewind it back because online too, but he made a conclusion about black men. I forgot exactly what it was. I'll rewind it back, but he made a conclusion about black men, and it wasn't rooted in anything. It wasn't even logical. And I was like, I mean, who cares? Like that's you can think that, right? I wasn't gonna jump in and be like, can you prove that? Can you show me the numbers on like it didn't matter. I just let it go. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to if you make sense, you can make sense with or without the study to back something up. Like that's all I'm saying. You can just make like you can say something that's just rooted in logic, and I'll believe you, right?
So I'm trying to have a fair conversation with you, probably. If you don't mind.
Two things that you at the same time.
So
I feel like I can't make sense.
Well, that sounds like BS covered in gold is gold. That's exactly.
But at the same time,
No.
can you be true at the same time?
No. If you say something that's rooted in logic, then I'll believe you. That makes sense. That sounds like somebody can peel your leg and tell you it's raining, but you know what? Go for it.
Yeah, that's not what it sounds like.
So this is my issue with.
I'll let you tell me issue. I wanted to say if even when Lower was up here, man, if y'all not following the people that are up here, y'all get these people following. I mean, it's a good conversation, regardless of what y'all talking about. It's a good conversation. Y'all get these people following, please. Go ahead,
So, basically, this is the conversation that I'm. Essential, one-of-a-kind, point-off conversations to make points about men. And then if men happen to do it, like right now, I could pull up 8 instances within the last 8 months of Black women unaliving their children. If I pull that up, someone's going to tell me that that's hate speech, right? And that these are incidental incidents and it's not telling of anything, even though we can see these trends occurring more in our community. My problem is the invalidation of any experience, right? I'm not trying to just blame any particular gender. I do just want to have real conversations, right? And the problem with people having real conversations is we can't because it's not necessarily genuine, okay? You have to accept when you make a general claim about patriarchy and then people question the validity of patriarchy applying to everyone while you simultaneously claim that men are the biggest victims of it, which is cool, right? Because it's true. Men are the biggest victims of patriarchy. But that principality in itself literally invalidates the claim that it's a system that's based in beneficiaries.
What?
If men are the biggest victims, allow me to finish. If men are the biggest victims, and I've heard you say this before, public, so I'm just basing this off what you said, that men are the biggest victims of patriarchy, that in itself invalidates the system being one based off beneficiaries. Because how can you benefit from something that you are the largely most persistent victim of the claim? Right?
That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, I never said that men are the largest victim. I mean, if you mean like, I don't even know how this would make sense, but no, just to be clear, unequivocally, men are not the largest victims of the patriarchy. Men are also victims of the patriarchy. Men are also victims of the patriarchy. Not
but statistically, men are the biggest victims of the patriarchy.
They're not.
Like when you say no.
In what way? In what way? In what way do you when you say statistically? In what way?
Yeah. Let me say so.
Mm-hmm.
Allow me to expound.
Mm-hmm.
People are also punished for said crimes, right? So not only being a victim of a crime is a negative statistic, committing the crime is also a negative statistic. This also lands men in jail, right? Incarceration is a problem, right? So when you add, men are the victim of the overwhelming majority of crimes that men commit against anybody.
Okay, I disagree. I disagree
statistically, okay, so the point is, you may say you disagree. The point is that is statistically true.
Yeah, I hear the point you're trying to make. I'm saying though that in and of itself wouldn't actually prove what you're saying, right? That is just one part of it. But a victim is worse than a person committing it, and you can say that that person is also a victim of the failure of the system. I got you. You're saying that you're saying that the person that committed the crime is also a victim of the system. Fine, I get that, right? But I'm saying that when it comes to, because there's many layers to this. Are we talking about interpersonally? Are we talking about economically? Are we talking about socially? Like what area are we speaking on? You're only speaking, you cherry picked one stat and to say that this I did. Now you want to change it, and that's good. Keep going. But that's what you did. Though. You did expound. That was you expounding on it. You expounded on it. I just countered it, and I'm saying that doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm saying. Like you did, like you picking that one, you cherry picking that one thing and saying this proves that men are actually the biggest victims of the patriarchy is your opinion. And that's fine. Like I'm not, you can have that opinion. I disagree. And I don't think that fact would prove that. That's all I'm saying. Right.
When he said the statistics, yeah, you can definitely respond. I just want to bring this in. If he said that the statistics prove it, cool. You know what I mean? I mean, statistics can be manipulated. The same way Bible verses and everything. I understand that. But you're saying, so if he says the statistics, prove it, like, I don't know, that would make it seem that it should have a little bit of consideration, personally, to me.
Women.
Right?
Yeah.
It seems.
Anybody, go ahead.
No, hold on. I mean, because listen, there's a point is that what I said is have a genuine conversation. And this is what I mean about not having a genuine conversation. I didn't cherry pick anything. I was asked to make a point. Now, if you would like different examples of how it happens financially and socially and all of that, I can also show you. Okay. Men are also victims of other men when it comes to financial abuse, right? This is the reality. The overwhelming point is that this very same patriarchal system that we're discussing, men are the biggest victims of. People ignore the concepts of intersectionality when it's convenient. That's why every time we ask, who is the perpetuator of most of these crimes, everybody wants to skip around the fact that we're talking about white men. They skip around it. Hey, who did that? White men. Oh, that doesn't matter. Hey, who is responsible for what you just said? White men. Oh, that doesn't matter. And then literally go into paragraphs about black men. And then we say, hey, where's the proof of what you just said that compares to black men? Oh, we don't have to present that. That's literally what just happened here, which is crazy. And that's the point. Why do people get to say whatever they want about black men and not be able to provide proof? And then want to question every other bit of proof that is presented to sound arguments. This is weird to me. I literally asked for proof. And then he said, don't ask for proof because I'm not going to validate your proof. This is crazy. How can we have a genuine conversation? And this is not just about public. I'm just saying in general. How can we have a conversation of growth when we can't acknowledge each other's evidence? That makes no sense. So then the conversation is not based in growth, it's based in pedestalization and edification of ourselves. And I know that doesn't make sense to most people because y'all are here to be entertained. But I'm not your goddamn step and fetch it. I really want to talk to these people.
Okay. I don't know if Lower's still here, but I'm going to tell him there's two bits of things. He get everybody up here. I'm sure y'all need to see this. You should look up the it's called the How Technology Facilitated Gender-Based Violence Impacts Women and Girls is on the United Nations website. And there's another thing, the pyramid of abuse. I'm sorry, I'm tired. The pyramid of abuse is also something that you guys could look at, and talks about how thoughts turn into violence. It starts with the thought and then it ends up turning into violence. For those of you who don't understand how men can have a thought, i.e. hate a woman, and then be like, oh yeah, that could actually escalate and lead to violence. I don't know what you guys think actually happens when violence happens, but you know it starts with a thought, right? Like I don't.
That's synonymous to men. Is that there isn't any evidence to quantify that? I hear what you're saying, right? And we do know that thoughts do provoke action, but we can't quantify when black, because you specifically said black men commit crimes against black women. There's no data to substantiate
What are you, Alima? What are you talking about? Do you guys be listening? I got this. Look, anybody that thinks, hold on, Omega, both of y'all could go look. This video. If Michael don't repost this, you could go back and listen to everything that was said. Right? I never said that. Like, what are you talking about? Black men do commit crimes and violence against black people. We perpetuate the most violence against black people, other black men, black women, black children. There is stats that would substantiate that. I don't know what y'all talking about.
I think it's misleading. You also have to understand the majority of that violence is against other black men. Predominantly, black violence is against other black men. It is not to say that black men are out here massacring black women or black children. Majority of black violence from men is on other black men.
Yeah, no, I understand that, Jalazi. And the thing is, if you guys, if you guys go look up like. If you guys ever, we all watch First 48. I used to watch a lot of First 48, but if you ever been, I watched it a lot. But also, if you just ever been investigated or whatever, I don't know. I've been harassed a lot by the police growing up. But like, so one of the if they literally talk about your lifestyle, right? So when you say black men are the number one victims of violence from other black men, you're right. But also, black men put themselves in harm's way more than women do. Women don't lead the same type of lifestyles that black men do. They don't
quantify that
by stats. By stats. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying. You got whatever. We sell the most drugs. We also, the thing you're saying is the thing that actually proves it. If black men commit the most violence, then that puts us in harm's way. If we're the one, so if I want to harm Omega, or Omega wants to harm me, right? We're both, I'm violent, Omega's violent. I'm coming to get him, he's coming to get me. One of us got to go. That is how the harm gets perpetuated against black men the most. Not every black man that got unalive was just some innocent, Johnny do good. He never hurt nobody. What did Jay say? Jay, what did Jay say? That's not what's going on. I'm not justifying it. Nope, I'm not justifying it. I'm not justifying it. Not at all. Nah, don't be weird. That's not what I said.
I see women as human before we move on. So you're saying that, that like, because black men do put themselves in harm's way. Cool. I don't agree with that. You think black women put themselves in harm's way at all?
No, I'm not saying black women don't. It's the rate. None of this is absolute. Of course, black women can be violent. Of course, black women sell drugs. Like, of course, black women do. They do the same stuff, but they don't do it as much. So they're not in harm's way as much. When I was growing up, I used to buy bags. I used to buy bags, little nickel bags off of black women. I knew some black women that sold some shit.
I said that, and you told me I was being weird. I just said what you said, like,
say no business. Don't worry about it.
What?
Listen, they don't respect me around here anyway, but I would say that
y'all got it.
All subjective. It is all subjective, so you really can't quantify that and just, but I like that. I like that, that we do. We need to give black women grace. We need to give them the benefit of the doubt. But shoot, man, we gotta kind of pass that around. If we don't do it, like,
hey, you got it, brother.
If they're human, I just kind of want to know. I want to be convinced about it.
My problem
I want PPG to go next. Please. If y'all don't mind.
Thank you, because I gotta get up super early.
Hey, y'all, I'm out.
Thank you, because I gotta get up.
I gotta go. I couldn't take it no more. Them people was too dumb. They kept saying the weirdest shit after I would say something normal, they would say something like, that's what I just said. That's not what you just said. That's not what you just said. And if they want to hear it, they can go listen to it. It's online right now. They can go back and rewind it and go listen to everything that was said. Like, goodness gracious. Nothing, we were not agreeing on most of the shit. They were just lying and it was weird. I can't wait to re-listen to this. Yeah, I gotta go. I ain't got all night to be on it. Yeah, Michael is red pill, but he's not, he be acting like he gets shit. He's stupid though. But I'm gonna holler, y'all. I'm out of here. It's 9:30, man. I gotta go. It was pointless. I'm out.